Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I am Regina Celestin Williams, and I have the pleasure of being the executive director here at SV at Home. And we're so excited to host you for a thoughtful conversation about the individual and community benefits of affordable housing. So this is a part of our Policy in Action at Home series. It is a monthly informal discussion convening housers to engage on hot housing topics. Every month, we select a topic or a current event, bring in an expert or two to give a brief presentation, and then we open up the discussion so that you all can ask questions and float new ideas and identify potential areas for shared action. So before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Muwekma Ohlone, Ramaytush Ohlone, Tamian Nation, and Nama Mutsun, on which we are learning, working, and organizing today. We at SV at Home are committed to honoring and making visible the Indigenous people and tribes that were intentionally displaced from their land and who remain here in Silicon Valley and are a part of our community. So we also want to ensure that the conversations and relationships here today remain respectful and productive. Please be kind and courteous to each other. No rude comments or personal attacks. We encourage asking questions and listening as we learn and engage with each other. Please remember that today's event is focused on the individual and community benefits of affordable housing. So please keep your questions and your chat on topic. Sometimes the chat can get lively. If you find that it is distracting you from the content of the discussion, we encourage you to consider closing the chat temporarily. If a person is disruptive or otherwise violates the code of conduct, they may be removed with or without warning. All right, so I am super excited to jump into this rich discussion with you all today. Sometimes as we work together on real solutions for the housing crisis, we get caught up in thinking about the numbers, how much we produce, how many we save, because we know the needs are so great. But thinking about it this way can make it challenging for people who aren't as familiar with these needs to understand why affordable housing is so important. Why our investments in affordable housing are really about people in our community. And they are long-lasting, far-reaching, and profoundly important investments. It's really important to our work to also talk about what the real impact of affordable housing is and the benefits we all gain from it as a community, as families, and really on an individual level. We know, based on years of research, affordable housing delivers benefits that might be less obvious, benefits in public health and economic benefits, environmental benefits, decreasing in domestic violence and community violence, real changes for the futures of our communities. We believe this is the impact. This is the work. The human side is why we need to commit the resources we need to address our affordable housing needs at scale. Okay, so we have two amazing speakers joining us today to share both some of the measurable economic benefits of affordable housing and also the critical personal impact that safe, stable, affordable housing has in people's lives. So first, I want to introduce Anthony Vega. Dr. Anthony Vega joined the California Housing Partnership in 2021. As Managing Director of Research, he oversees the partnership's research, policy analysis, and program evaluation efforts to improve affordable housing policy and programs. Before joining the partnership, Anthony was the Director of Research and Evaluation at the Community Builders in Boston, where he oversaw the evaluation of the community life programs and their impact on resident housing stability and access to opportunity. Anthony spent a lot of time earlier in his career working directly with people living in affordable housing. So he understands the impact that it can have from multiple perspectives. And that's a big part of why helping people understand the value of affordable housing is so important to him personally. Anthony will be sharing an exciting tool the California Housing Partnership developed to help track and explain the community economic benefits of affordable housing, including the developments we have right here in Santa Clara County. So with no further ado, I'm going to ask Anthony to present his work with us. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi, everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a quick run through of kind of the work that we did in relationship to the tool. And before I get into that, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me join this event. And it's great to be with everyone. As Regina said, I'm the research director, managing research director here at the California Housing Partnership. And the tool I'm going to be talking about is our affordable housing map of benefits calculator. We launched this tool in 2019 and have updated it yearly since. And I'm going to show some slides, our website relating to it and things like that. Before I do, we made this tool as as the impetus of thinking about how do we help move the conversation from what we often have is a conversation of what is the affordable housing development is going to do to a community versus what are the benefits of what it is. And so we feel like we need to talk more about the benefits and be able to have something to talk to. And so we created this tool to help showcase the benefits of affordable housing to move the conversation in that direction when thinking about benefits of affordable housing. So let me share my screen. So y'all should be able to see this, I hope. Can you all see it? Okay, cool. Awesome, thank you. So one of the things that we have is our tool. If you want to get to it from our webpage, again, this is our California Housing Partnership webpage. There's multiple places to go, but it's right here up at the data tools. And so if you were to click on data tools, it'll take you right to the tool and provide some background to the tool itself. And then you can click through into the tool. And what you're provided with is also a summary of what it does. Again, quantifies the estimates of the social, economic, and environmental benefits of affordable housing. And then there's a little tutorial that, again, if you want to learn more about how to utilize the tool. And so I'm jumping straight into the tool because I feel like it helps illustrate a lot of the stuff that we did related to what we're looking at. What you're looking at is our database of affordable housing developments across the whole state of California. And so you can see how many there are, how many are funded by each of the programs, and then across the whole state are estimates of the benefits of the affordable housing based in 2020 dollars. And so the tool allows for a drill down of different areas of the state. And so if we wanted to go to the specific county, you can type it in and just click on that, and it will zoom directly to the county. It will allow you to see the different properties within the county. And what you're seeing is, again, you can take zooms of every single one of the properties within Santa Clara County. And then one of the reasons we did this tool as well is people often ask, like, okay, so we understand that there's a lot of affordable housing in particular areas. And so what is the distribution of it versus where do we not see as much affordable housing in a particular area? And so this allows for a quick way to be able to see that. If you were to click on any one of these properties, you can. And again, what you're going to see is information about the property. You'll get the name of the property up here on the left, the address of the property, and the other thing that carries over are the benefits of the property, which I'll go into right now. So each of the properties has calculated estimated benefits based upon our estimates of different things, like household rent savings, total rent savings for the building, lifetime earnings boost if there were a child or child is in the house. Again, this is senior property, so unlikely. And if I click on a different one, again, you're going to see that, and it's going to switch over to a different type. And every time you do that, you can see it for each of the individual properties across. And so what you're looking at is, again, our estimates based upon the data that we have for this particular places. Based typically in the census data, we also have regional data that we use and state data. And so we're looking at GHG or greenhouse gas emission reductions if it's closer to transit or how far it is, the reduction proximity to jobs or job centers, jobs supported by the construction of the building, as well as wages, business incomes generated by construction and the running of the building, and the state and local taxes generated by the construction as well as the running of the buildings. And so these are just some of the benefits. Again, every time you click on it, it will go different to each one of those buildings that you can see and get information for those buildings. And if you didn't want that anymore, you just click there. And again, it's a lot of different functionalities that we did, both for advocates as well as nonprofit affordable housing developers, and just people who are interested in affordable housing and understanding the benefits that it has for a community, which again, we see as super important for our ability to understand the impact of affordable housing for communities and to better argue for more affordable housing across counties and across the state. So I can go into a little bit more, or if that's a cool break, we can stop there and I can describe other stuff if you want to.
Great. Thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that is a little bit for us to sort of digest the information that's available in that map and benefits calculator. I'm going to move on to sharing who our next speaker is. Our next guest speaker is Cathy Eberhardt. She has been a resident of Oakland for more than 17 years, and she wears a lot of hats. She was elected to serve as vice chair to the Mayor's Commission on Persons with Disabilities in 2022. She serves on the East Bay Asian Local Development Chinatown Resident Leadership Council. She is an advocate and volunteer on local neighborhood coalitions, has worked to launch an emergency preparedness community project, and took action to improve pedestrian safety in her community. As an advocate for affordable housing through the East Bay Housing Organization, known as EBHO, for more than 3 years, she has lobbied legislators in Sacramento and spoken before the Oakland City Council. Cathy also serves on All Homes Community Advisory Council. In recognition of her outstanding leadership skills, in 2018, she graduated from the East Bay Housing Organization Leadership Academy and Urban Habitat Civic Leadership Committee. In 2019, she attended the Resident United Network, which is the NeighborWorks of America Community Leadership Institute in Chicago, was recommended to the Urban Habitats Boards and Commission Leadership Institute, and attended the 6-month program in 2020. At the age of 40, she became disabled and was homeless for 18 months, living in transitional housing and homeless shelters. Her personal experiences have helped her understand the biases against persons with disabilities and has inspired her to become a leader in her community. And that she certainly is. So, Cathy, we would love for you to join us and share your personal experience about what it has meant to have affordable housing and how you see affordable housing as a benefit to others. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Excuse my expression, but oh my God, what a difference it is to be in affordable housing. As mentioned, I'm a person with lived experience, and I was homeless for 18 months. I'm also permanently disabled, and I am a senior. To have an affordable place to stay is like heaven. You have safety, you have security, you have the peace of mind that you just feel relaxed and comfortable. When I was homeless, I take medication, and my medication has to be refrigerated. Not only was I concerned to be able to keep it refrigerated, but I was also afraid that my medication would be stolen. I don't have anything against shelters, but you do honestly have to watch your back. I was in a situation where I lost items, stolen items. It's just a world of difference to be able to live in affordable housing. You can plan your money better. You can plan your meals better. You know, you spend a lot of money when you're buying food out every day. Now I'm able to go to the grocery store, make a list, budget my money, go in and get enough food to last for a couple of weeks before I need to go out and replenish my food again. I've saved a lot of money by being in a position to buy my own food and bring it home and plan my meals and cook it. Also, at the same time, you have to think about the families that are out there with children, because there are families out there with children. Can you imagine trying to study in an unstable environment with tons of people around, or not even a roof over your head? I'm sure it is for families that have been able to find affordable housing for their children are so extremely happy that now they can sit down at a table and chair and concentrate and work on their studies. And we have to admit it, being on the streets, living in encampments, and being in shelters, it's not a place for a child to be raised in and to grow up in and to flourish in and to grow in. So think of the families that are homeless today, and then get in a position where they're able to live in affordable housing. Another thing is too, at shelters, and like I said, I am in support of the shelters, but this is the true life. You have to get up and leave like 7 o'clock in the morning and stay out until 4, 5 o'clock in the evening. So that leaves you just wandering basically the streets just to pass the time. Although I did use my time for looking for affordable housing and everything, but who wants to be out in the day 7 to 8 hours straight, just out in the street? That's not a good position to be in. And that's how it is with shelters. You have to leave early in the morning, and you can't return until the early evening. Another thing is, you have a chance now that you're in affordable housing to budget your money, to save it for the future. Maybe you want to buy a car in the future. Maybe you want to just as simple as go on a little vacation and things. You're able to save your money and take advantage of being able to do those things. I was currently at the time I was homeless, I also took martial arts. I wasn't able to keep up with the classes and everything because some of the classes were in the evening at 6 o'clock, and I wasn't able to go because I wasn't in my own home. How great it is to be able to unlock your doors, go into your own place, and just not have to worry about anything because this is your home. But the key is it needs to be affordable. You need to be able to manage your money and just manage your day. It's just overwhelmingly a big difference. And just to be safe, I mean, you're no safer when you're in your own home and there aren't people that you know. You know, there's people that you don't know their characters or who they are and stuff. To be able to go to sleep and sleep peacefully, just to be able to lay your head down and not have any worries. Even the small things such as being able to watch whatever you want to watch on TV. I mean, I know this sounds very little and stuff like that, but just giving the opportunity to watch what you want to watch on TV and not have it mandated by other people or things like that. I feel so grateful to be in affordable housing. I feel more relaxed. My health is even better. Since I've been in affordable housing. I can manage my medications. I don't need to worry about that. The things that I have mentioned previously and everything. So, affordable housing is a blessing. I ran into so many people on the streets who would just die to be able to have a place that they call their own, and number one, and be affordable. That is what is really important, being affordable, being able to manage your life. So thank you for listening to me. All I can say is, oh my God, it's a blessing.
I really appreciate you sharing all of that. It's very clear that you embody advocacy and are one of us in doing this work, but also in sharing your story. So we appreciate you doing that with here today. I know that you shared quite a bit, so I'm going to go back to Anthony so that you can have a little bit of a break before we get into the conversation more. Anthony, would you mind sharing the report again and kind of spending a little bit more time discussing Santa Clara County, because Cathy really shared the story of how affordable housing is the solution to folks being unhoused. And could you talk a little bit more about how your calculator, CHP's calculator, shows how it is an asset in communities and it provides stabilization for folks, for families throughout our community?
Yeah, definitely. And so, let me see what to do. Awesome. So can you all see that? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So one of the things that, again, when we're talking about the affordable housing across the county itself, is our calculator, as well as our work at the California Housing Partnership, is driven to help preserve and produce affordable housing for low-income communities across the state, and that includes Santa Clara County as well, in our terms of our work that we've done in the past directly within the county. And so the benefits that we were talking about across the county, which were just touched on, it's not just we're talking about savings or the ability to save on rent, because that's important, but it's not the only thing that's important. The other thing that discussed is the idea of helping with lifetime earnings boost for the children. So as was just mentioned, having a place that is stable to do your work, to do your homework as a child, to feel secure in your housing across years, to get connected to services and to get connected to the community as large in the schools, helps with all of the idea of the lifetime earnings boost, as well as improving children's abilities to help combat health issues like the savings when we're thinking about pediatric health. Asthma is another key one. Being in a place that you're able to treat asthma if someone has asthma, getting a doctor, a regular doctor, or just improvements in living standards by moving into a new affordable housing development or rehab, ACT rehab development, could help save someone, money when it comes to asthma emergency room visits. And so those are just some of the tangible benefits that we're looking at when we think about it for the county as a whole. And again, there's other things that for the county, when you build affordable housing, you're also allowing for the place for jobs, either to construct that affordable housing, as well as to help manage and run the affordable housing once it is built. And so the job supported is not just the residents who are getting jobs, but also the residents in the county who can get jobs helping build and manage the affordable housing. So there's many different benefits across the spectrum for the county when it comes to affordable housing. And this tool touches on, just some of them. And we hope that it just helps generate the conversation that there are these tangible benefits on the ground in the properties for the residents as well as for the community as a whole.
Yeah, I love that. It really allows us to see the benefits of affordable housing at a collective scale, and not just property by property, unit by unit. It really is building more affordable housing, preserving more affordable housing is transformational. It's about shaping our whole region. And I love the lens of this tool in recognizing that, that there are collective benefits, and that we, as these communities come to fruition, community by community, they are adding to the benefits of the whole. So that's really great. So I do have a question for you. It's clear that the numbers are really important to understand, and the benefits of affordable housing in the community is really tangible. However, we can't completely capture in numbers all the ways people's lives are impacted by affordable housing. We're talking about the story behind the numbers as well, right? How do we combine in our advocacy the data, the research, and the lived experience? So experiences like those that Cathy has shared, and folks continue to share all over the state, show how important the resources are to expand affordable housing and how affordable housing meets the needs in our communities. Can you talk a little bit about the need? You know, how critical is it to have local and regional and state resources to bring to the table?
Yeah. So the California Partnership does a number of things on housing need. We actually have our housing needs dashboard, which goes into the total number of units that we estimate are needed for the county. And so we have one specific that we could pull up for California, for Santa Clara County, if we wanted to present that. So it is, and what we see across the state is for low-income households, by and large, the amount of housing that is produced to meet the need of low-income households to be not house burden, or not cost burden in their home, which means not spending more than 30% of their income towards rent or housing expenses, is something that, by and large, most counties are dealing with, including Santa Clara. And so at the current moment, we are not producing and do not have enough housing for low-income households in Santa Clara County to meet the need for someone to be able to not spend more than 30% of their income. And there's also a good percentage of people, by that I mean I can look at it and bring it up, that are more than 50% of their income goes to rent. And we probably, people of people who are spending probably more than 50% of their income towards rent. And the one thing that we often say is the rent eats first. And what that means is when you have a high rent, it's likely you're going to pay that and then defer the payment of other things, such as food or healthcare, or school supplies for your child, or maybe a vehicle, or maybe a payment to another type of utility. And so again, when rent is something that's so much of your paycheck, as we see across the state, it does mean that other things are often deferred. And so when thinking about Santa Clara County, again, we look at what is the need using census data and try to estimate that based upon how much we know about how much housing is out there for people. And currently right now, for low-income people, there is not enough housing right there for people.
And also what I hear you describing, Anthony, is that the market, the housing market, is really not, serving all of us who live here in Santa Clara County or in the Bay Area or in the state of California. What you're describing is that we have a housing market that serves folks who are of higher income, and the folks who are living here trying to remain here, right? Trying to build roots here and working to do so, are being harmed by that housing market. They really are having to spend more than what's reasonable on housing costs in the market, and that makes them, suffer in other areas of their well-being, of their lives, and so it's really important for all of us to understand that without affordable housing, and without more affordable housing, the market doesn't serve folks and would not allow so many of us to remain in this community. And I can say that fully standing in the fact that, I grew up living in affordable housing in the Bay Area, and my family tremendously benefited from affordable housing. So there are so many of us, our families, our extended families, who wouldn't be here if this precious asset didn't exist, and we have to make it less precious. We need to build enough so that we all can be here and not have to continuously work and sweat and try to hold on to living here, even to the extent of being displaced from our homes and living in a house. So I really am, again, appreciative of this very clear and transparent conversation about the benefits of affordable housing.
And yes, do you mind if I say something else about the benefits of living in affordable housing? And that is, not only is my affordable housing apartment offer this, but other affordable housing apartments offer it also, and that is service providers. They supply supportive help, so that if you're ever in a situation that you need help with any of your state benefits, such as Medi-Cal or CalFresh or something like that, if you're ever in a situation that something happens and you do need help in getting with your rent and stuff, the affordable housing apartments have supporting services that help the residences that are here full time and Monday through Friday, that you're able to go to seek out help if you need any kind of need. So you have somebody here that has a vast amount of resources in which you didn't have when you were homeless that are able to help people too. I do want to mention that also.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Cathy. And actually, I do want to ask you, as someone who's an advocate, a very vocal advocate about affordable housing, with lived expertise, when you're talking to people about the benefits of affordable housing, what do they find, most surprising? Or what is it that you share with them they never really considered before?
You know what? Just the smallest little things of being able to go in your own bathroom and take a shower. Just the hygienic cleanliness, being able to, to the smallest point, like I said, of just being able to take your own shower or bath in your own place is things that people, when you're homeless, is that really as much in your mind because you're out there on the streets and you're just happy to have your things safe and not stolen. That's how it really is out there, being safe and not having your things stolen from you. So when I talk to people and I do the advocacy work for affordable housing, and I talk to them and I tell them, don't give up. You're going to be able to get it and stuff. I said, just think of the minute, littlest thing. Just to be able to go in your own place and put something on the table and come back a week later and it's still there. I mean, safety and security is really a big part of having your own place. And again, it has to be affordable in order to live comfortably.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So many things that many of us take for granted. Anthony, what about you? When you're out, sharing the data, having these conversations about the benefits of affordable housing, what do folks, find surprising? And what do they seem to understand the least about affordable housing?
So I think a lot of times people find the most surprising thing, I think, is the scale of the lack of affordable housing. I think people think, or maybe get the sense that there is a lot of housing, or maybe is a lot of apartments that someone can rent, or there's a lot of openings for things. They see vacancies, so they go to apartment, like rental listings. They're like, oh, look at all these apartments. And one of the things that is kind of missing from that is the lack of access that many people have to those units, whether they are too expensive, maybe they're too far from their job and they don't have transportation to it. Maybe they don't have the deposit needed to move into that particular unit. Or there's other things within their past that the particular landlord would be like, I don't want to rent to that particular person. And so there are many things that, whether it be their credit history or criminal background, which depending on the county can, be used against them in the process. And so you find that just because there's potential units there, they're often either market rate or unavailable to particular people. And so when we show people how much affordable housing is needed for low-income communities and households, it's a big gap. It's a huge gap between what we know they need per county and what they have available for low-income people. So that's the most surprising thing. When you throw out numbers like 50,000 units need to be built for that particular county, and they're like, wow, that's a lot of units. And then the thing that I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding or maybe grasping is that I think when we talk about our numbers, we, as we say, sometimes lose the more human element of it. And we try to impress upon that as much as we can. Like, we're talking about people, right? When we show these numbers, these are households, these are people gaining access to affordable housing. And when we say there's a gap in what's being there, those are people who don't have housing right now. Like, that's a representation of people. And so trying to impress upon people, when we talk about the numbers, we're actually talking about households. We're talking about family, children, seniors, people who are formerly homeless, veterans. Like, there are many different groups that are impacted by homelessness and the lack of affordable housing. And so trying to phrase that and trying to get the numbers to connect to people and their lives is one of the more difficult things, but one of the more important things that we try to do.
Yeah, that's really helpful. One of the things that I'm thinking about as you both talk is how it feels like the market should make adjustments, right? That if there are available homes at the higher end of the market, that there should be some way of making adjustments to this. But waiting for the market to make adjustments is what's harming so many folks and pushing people out of the area and out of their homes. And so it really helps to see both the data and the research in numbers and see, wait, the market only builds to the high end. If you look at our regional housing needs assessment, the only communities are achieving the highest end of housing units needed. All the other income levels are much below what needs to be built to meet those needs of those communities. Realizing the toll it takes on people to try to pay more than what they can afford in rent is so key. And Cathy, you've really shared that with us. And so what we're starting to see are more efforts to create this more complete picture of affordable housing, combining both spaces where different people with different roles and different perspectives come together. And so I wanted to ask you, Cathy, with all of the different advocacy roles you're in, because you really are everywhere. We heard that. And you really are talking to all kinds of people who value your perspective. How important is it for you to share this experience and this lived expertise along with the data and the research, similar to what Anthony presented?
It's so important. As you mentioned the work that I do. I'm getting ready to go to Lobby Day on the 15th of May in Sacramento to try and get a bill passed for affordable housing. I feel it makes me feel empowered. Number one, that I do actually come as a person with lived experience because I know what's needed. And when I go to lobby day, for example, the legislators do listen to you. They listen to you when you're telling your stories about why they should support certain bills for more affordable housing. When I go to city council meetings or sit on different panels and stuff, people really listen and take to heart and say, you know, I never thought about that. I get a lot of that from people when I'm on different panels. I go speak at different places and stuff. They said, I never thought of that because they have never been in this situation. So I'm feeling good about the work that I'm doing for advocacy because I'm feeling that I am being heard. I need to be heard more, though. All of us, our advocates, need to be heard more, though, so that we can get more people into affordable housing and give them some security.
And as you talk about being heard, in your experience, what do people understand the least about affordable housing and its value?
What they understand the least, because they've never lived in affordable housing, they actually don't realize how it works. You know, for example, I pay a third of my income for rent. That is a big benefit to only have to pay a 30% of your income because I am on the fixed income versus having to pay market rate income. So they really, they say, well, I'm only getting exercise and I only make this amount of money. You know, all the money is going to go to rent. I said, no, affordable housing. You pay a third of your income, so and which is very workable in your budget and stuff. So it is a benefit. You still will be able to live and have a better quality of life than versus paying market rate and being on the street because it's only a 30% of your income. And that doesn't calculate with them because they never experienced that before.
Yes. Yeah, that's super helpful. Anthony, how is the California Housing Partnership thinking about the need to connect this work together with voices and folks like Cathy and who are able to share their stories, and affordable housing developers and community organizations? How are you thinking about working with all the different folks who are in the space to help capture these perspectives and make our voices louder?
And so, the California's partnership, we work with all the main regional housing advocates across the state, including SV at Home, as well as others. We also work with to try to learn from the experiences on the ground through our Equity Policy Advisory Committee, which includes those that work with people who live in affordable housing, such as tenant lawyers, those that are providing support to tenants, so that we can learn from their experiences with working with tenants and helping tenants. And so that our work and our mission are seen as lifting up the ability of us to preserve and produce affordable housing for low-income people across the state. And so we try our best to connect with those that are working with those that are in the housing or those who need the housing. We also work with a number of affordable housing nonprofits that do a homelessness or specific work, so that we can connect to those particular people who are understanding those numbers, because we want to make sure that we dedicate our time to lifting up the work of others as well. And so we work with them to help with their work, as well as them contributing to ours to better understand both homelessness and affordable housing at large. And so it's as our name suggests, partnership. We try our best to live up to that and work with as many groups as we can to get out the message that affordable housing is needed in every area of the state. And I mean, we want, and our goal is, and has always been, to work to the where it isn't needed, where there is already enough affordable housing across the state, and we can be like, yes, our work is here, is done. And we hope one day that that is something we can attain. But until then, we will work with all the groups across the state to help with that.
So absolutely. And as we wrap up, Cathy, any final words or comments?
I'm hoping that there are people on the line that, well, I'm not hoping that they're homeless, but I'm hoping that there's people on the line that can go out and to the encampments and the shelters and talk to the people who are in need of housing, to continue this search for affordable housing. It makes a great difference and gives you quality of life being in affordable housing. It's a huge difference in obtaining it, and not to give up trying to find it. There are people out there like myself and other people, that a lot of other people that are fighting for affordable housing. Don't give up. I know it's hard trying to get it, but don't give up.
I appreciate that. And, this has been a great discussion. I really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate both of you, the work that you're doing. I look forward to continuing to work with both of you. I think for me, I feel blessed to be in this field with so many folks from diverse backgrounds who do diverse areas of work. As Anthony touched on, there's all kinds of work where you can work to move forward a community, a Bay Area, California, where everyone can live and thrive. And I've been in this work for 17 years, and I just appreciate all of you who do this work, all of you who are on the line and understand how important this work is, how challenging it is. But it really is a collective work. There's no one of us who is going to change the dynamics that we see today that's harming so many folks. It's only together that we're going to make a change. And so, we appreciate this opportunity to get deeper than just, how many units. We're committed to this approach. We're committed to our communities, to the people who we live in this community with. This is the work that SB at Home is committed to, and that's why, I appreciate being able to be here and work towards what we know is going to happen, which is there's going to be enough housing for everyone. It has to be. We have to do it. Policy in action is about, translating our learning to action. So I do want to hand it over to Allison Singalani, who is going to talk about what you can do to support real progress. Thank you again, Cathy. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. What an incredible conversation. I really appreciate you, Regina, and Cathy and Anthony for bringing such a great conversation to us. So I ask that you stick around for just a few more minutes. We have some really important things for you. You've heard a lot today about the value of affordable housing, how much it means to residents, and how some of the benefits that it delivers to our communities. For our call to action today, we're asking you to take 2 actions to secure the critical financial resources we need to invest in affordable housing here in Santa Clara County. Emily is going to drop a link in the chat where you can find everything you need to take action now. Like a lot of local jurisdictions, the city of San Jose is facing challenging headwinds and creating a budget that meets residents' most urgent needs in an environment where municipal revenues are going down. City Council is facing a lot of difficult decisions, but now more than ever, we can't afford to have funding for affordable housing on the chopping block. So if you believe we need to invest in permanent affordable housing in San Jose as a critical part of the response to both unsheltered homelessness and the housing needs of the city's other low-income families and individuals, here is our ask. We need you to tell San Jose's mayor and council. Our second action item today has to do with a real opportunity to address our regional housing crisis at a regional scale, really for the first time. This November, the Bay Area Housing Finance Authority, or BAFA, is sponsoring a $10 to $20 billion affordable housing bond measure in all 9 Bay Area counties. Locally, Santa Clara County will receive up to $2.2 billion, and the city of San Jose will receive an additional allocation of more than $2 billion. So this money is critical to keep moving on the county's pipeline of more than 10,000 new affordable homes that are just waiting for that financing to be able to move forward, and to preserve the affordability of existing homes in our communities. So together, SB at Home and Working Partnerships USA are building a strong local and regional movement that will be ramping up to play an essential role as we move toward a campaign season. At the regional level, our Bay Area Housing for All Coalition continues work of getting endorsements and bringing these critical resources to affordable housing to our communities throughout the Bay Area. So I'm going to ask Emily again to drop that link in the chat so that you're connected with all the resources you need to take those 2 really important actions today. All right, at SB at Home, we also believe everyone deserves a safe, stable, and affordable home. And if you do too, we invite you to join us to become a member. When you join SB at Home together, we can build and sustain a movement for affordable housing because we know we're stronger together than we ever can be in isolation. Because you're so important to us, we want to make sure that there's no barrier to you joining us as a member. So for membership to be open and accessible to everyone, there's not any minimum cost to join. Feel free to pay whatever you can. Your membership helps support our work, including programs like the Policy in Action Today. You can find the link to join us in the chat, and together we'll work towards solving the Bay Area's housing crisis. We do have a quick 3-question poll to get your feedback on the event today, and we would appreciate you taking just a moment to complete that and let us know how we're doing. We also want to remind you that May is Affordable Housing Month. And along with our partners, we have a very exciting lineup of events for you. So be sure to visit the link to view the calendar and learn more. You can also scan the QR codes that we have in the background of our Zoom slides. So big thanks to our comms department for putting that together. Our first housewarming event is next week, and that will cover the Bay Area-wide Regional Affordable Housing Bond. So if you want to learn more about this and what you can do to get involved, please make sure you join us. We'll be voting on that bond in November, so it's coming up very soon. Join us at Open San Jose in downtown San Jose on Friday, May 3rd from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and learn more about the bond from our deeply knowledgeable panel, eat some delicious food, and celebrate this year's BRIC Award winners, co-directors Saul Ramos and Victor Vasquez with Somos Mayfair. Make sure you RSVP today, and we'll have that link in the chat too. And thank you. We really appreciate you being here with us today. Thank you, Cathy and Anthony, for joining us for such a rich conversation that really reveals the depth of the benefits that affordable housing brings to both the people living in affordable housing and to our communities as a whole. And thank you again, everyone, for being part of this conversation. We hope you'll join us for Affordable Housing Month coming up in May. Thank you.